Welcome in. Great to have you with us on this fine Wednesday. I'm Brian Schnee. It is January 22nd. Tonight we're taking a look at an illegal gambling operation and arrest in Salt Lake City that resulted in weapons and cash and fentanyl coming off the streets. First, though, the Department of Homeland Security announced federal immigration officers can now make arrests in schools and churches. These places were previously considered off limits until the Trump administration took office this week. And Krista McPeak has more after districts throughout Utah sent letters to administrators and parents today.
What it represents is terrifying and heartbreaking.
Tema Martin has a high schooler in the Salt Lake School District. She says she got a notification from the district stating that every child is welcome in their schools, regardless of immigration status. What was your reaction there?
When I received that message last night, I was immediately heartbroken.
Salt Lake City School District spokesperson Yandere Chatwin says they sent out notifications to parents to communicate that they're aware of the changes by the Trump administration and the Department of Homeland Security, that schools are no longer off limits for federal immigration officers. And what is the school district doing in navigating these changes?
So we're following the information coming from the administration closely to make sure that we're up to speed.
Chatwin says that the district doesn't collect immigration information for students.
We saw the new guidance from the Department of Homeland Security last night, and knowing our community, we anticipated that would cause a lot of fear and anxiety for some families. We wanted to get ahead of that, let families know we were aware of that.
For Martin,
I think the district did the right thing in sending that message, and it was very kind and well thought out. But it represents a phase in this process that it feels apocalyptic to me.
She says it paints a bigger picture.
There are so many ways that we all benefit from the labor of hardworking immigrants, and nobody really knows what an undocumented worker looks like.
Well, if you'd like to catch up on what school leaders and parents have to say about this policy impacting Utah schools, check out this story on our website right now, KUTV.com. Leaders in the Utah Senate say new deportation drives should focus on criminals, not others who are here illegally. That was their answer to 2 News' questions today about new expected ICE operations across the country, some of which could unfold here in Utah. This stance from Utah legislators was described as common ground. Now the question, will all police in Utah cooperate with federal agents? Salt Lake City Police policy does not specify yes or no. The language in the policy says, quote, the department may provide available support services such as traffic control or peacekeeping efforts to ICE or other federal agencies. Utah Senate President Stuart Adams responded to the possibility of the legislature imposing cooperation.
What if a local community is not cooperating with federal agents? Is there a role for the legislature to impose that cooperation?
Yeah, right. So let me address that. From what I understand, we've had conversations with the minority party. We have common ground. The common ground is criminals ought to go home.
Adams says he has not heard of any cities that will not cooperate with ICE and other federal agents. President Trump has spent much of the first couple of days in office enacting his plans to step up border enforcement. CBS's Natalie Brand has more details from the White House tonight.
As the Trump administration begins a major crackdown on illegal immigration, CBS News has learned U.S. border agents have been told to deport migrants crossing into the country illegally without allowing them to request asylum. While the Biden administration enacted its own asylum restrictions last June, migrants could still plead their case if they expressed fear of being harmed once deported.
President Trump's new leadership at the Justice Department also sent a memo Wednesday directing employees to step up immigration enforcement and investigate any state or local officials who might try to obstruct new policies.
So sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities, more people arrested, more collaterals arrested. So that's a game they want to play. Game on.
Tom Homan, who President Trump calls his border czar, says targeted immigration enforcement operations are underway with hundreds of arrests already. Immigration advocates nationwide, including in Miami, say they're working to educate people of their rights.
One of the main things that we're working on is making sure that our community has the tools necessary to protect themselves with the upcoming threats.
Over on Capitol Hill, House Republicans announced a new select panel to investigate events leading up to January 6th. It comes as Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, convicted of seditious conspiracy, was released from prison.
The miscarriage of justice that happened in these cases, regardless if somebody agrees with putting their hands on a police officer and whatnot, how the process worked out was unfair.
Before Trump's pardon, Tarrio had been serving a 22-year sentence in one of the most high-profile cases related to the January 6th Capitol assault. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Continuing our immigration coverage, the House Judiciary Immigration Integrity Subcommittee held a hearing today on immigration enforcement. There was a lengthy back and forth between Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin and the Cato Institute Immigration Studies Director. Take a listen.
Mr. Beard, just to be clear, you're with the Cato Institute, which my Republican colleagues generally love and are always quoting you and talking about you whenever we're talking about budget or fiscal affairs or so on. They don't like what you're saying about immigration today, and they certainly don't like your message, although I think they were completely stymied and flabbergasted when you said that things had improved marginally under President Biden, but had gone way south under Donald Trump. Explain why immigration policy was such a nightmare in the first Trump administration.
Well, we basically didn't have an immigration system by the end of the Trump administration. I mean, he basically banned all immigration from abroad, legal immigration from abroad, refugees down 92%, immigrant visas down 78%, non-immigrant visas down 80%. We basically didn't have an immigration system available to people at the end of the Trump administration. And if you look at what happened with convicted criminals crossing the border, the lack of focus on prioritization of convicted criminals in the interior, yes, the immigration system under the Trump administration led to a disaster. And ultimately, it took 4 years, but the Biden administration improved things significantly from the end of the Trump administration.
So the new Trump administration inherits a situation that's better in terms of unlawful crossings. What is going to be the effect of all of these executive orders at this point? It seems almost like they're calculated to produce more chaos.
Absolutely. He's trying to get rid of the legal channels by which people come into the country. He got rid of the refugee program day one. He got rid of the parole processes that allow people to enter legally on day one. He said, we're not going to do any kind of asylum, even for people who are entering the country legally. If you do that, what's the alternative? It's illegal immigration. And really, as long as we have illegal immigration, it's going to be a major touch point politically.
All right, so let's say that he actually turns the whole country into chaos by trying to deport 12 million people as he's promised. What would the economic effect of that be? And I ask because I get business people coming to my office all the time from the hotel sector, from the construction sector, from seafood, from agriculture, saying there aren't enough people to do the work now. What would happen if we deported 12 million people?
Right. Look, it would be a blow to the economy similar to the Great Recession in size, $2 trillion blow to the GDP on an annual basis. You're talking about a massive blow to the budget. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that deficits will be lower by $1 trillion as a result of the immigrant workers that are working in the United States in these industries. And look, many American workers depend on the workers that we're talking about. In construction, you have 2 million Americans who are working in specialized positions and as managers and supervisors of illegal immigrant workers who are doing the tough manual labor jobs at the low end. So there's a complementarity between the U.S. workforce and the immigrant workforce.
If you'd like to see more immigration coverage in the ways it imminently impacts Utahns, you can head to our website, KUTV.com. We have a lot up there for you. Coming up on ARC Salt Lake, an illegal gambling arrest in Salt Lake City, getting some guns and cash off the streets. Hear from Salt Lake City Police about how it all happened. An illegal gambling operation with guns and drugs was shut down in the Ballpark neighborhood of Salt Lake City. Police Chief Mike Brown shares what went into this operation and a promise to Ballpark and Salt Lake City residents.
We will not tolerate crime. We will not let criminals take over our neighborhoods, and we will not stop until our communities are safe. That is what Salt Lakers deserve. I am proud of our police officers. They are determined to fight crime and to help make our communities feel safe, including neighborhoods just like the Ballpark. Today, I'm announcing that our Special Investigations Unit and SWAT team have shut down an alleged criminal enterprise masquerading as a legitimate business. These allegations in this case are serious. This wasn't just illegal gambling. We allege this was a hub for crime, drawing in violence, drugs, and fear. Over the last 6 months, this part of the Ballpark neighborhood has seen violent crime at the hands of those who think they can operate outside the law. They were wrong. Let me be clear. If you break the law in Salt Lake City, we will come for you. This undercover operation led to the seizure of more than $56,000 in cash, firearms, gambling machines, and dangerous narcotics like fentanyl and methamphetamine. The owner of the business, the person we arrested, was booked into jail last night on illegal gambling-related charges. We are working with the prosecutors to determine if other criminal charges are appropriate. Based on our preliminary investigation, our detectives determined that illegal gambling was taking place here at 1480 South State, with the proceeds allegedly being funneled to another business in Murray. Both of those businesses are owned by the same person. This investigation and the law enforcement action our detectives have taken should send a clear message to those in our community who think they can operate criminal activities under the guise of a legitimate business. We will not tolerate any activity that fuels crime and erodes public trust. To the residents and businesses of Ballpark, you deserve a safe community. We have heard your concerns about crime in this area, and we have taken action. This takedown is just beginning. Our commitment is never ending. We will keep the pressure on criminals, and we will not stop. Finally, I want to personally recognize the efforts of our Special Investigations Unit, our SWAT team, Liberty Patrol Division, and our bike squad. These officers put in the work to make this city safer, and their results speak for themselves.
If you'd like to watch the full press conference with Salt Lake City Police Chief Mike Brown on this arrest from illegal gambling in the Ballpark neighborhood, we'll have that posted on our KUTV YouTube page. Any day now, just waiting for some snow. That's all it is. Just waiting.
You're going to have to wait some time.
I know.
I
don't like it that way.
I don't mind the weekend storms. I just wish they provided a little bit more snow. Because,
they've been relatively weak as of late.
Not
I'm
for
not
Alta.
a meteorologist, but we're not
Alta.
getting dumped on. I know.
No. And this one will be kind of similar in that respect, but it'll be different in the respect that southern Utah could actually be potentially the winners of this, seeing some moisture here, and that could end our streak of over 45 days without any rain or snow. How about that? 29 degrees right now. It's cold. It continues to be cold here up and down the Wasatch Front, and we're below freezing. 26 in Provo. It's just a cold night out there. You factor in the very light winds, and it's very frigid. 27 in Cedar City, 17 in Manti. The wind's getting a little bit better, but still gusty. St. George, a 35-mile-per-hour wind gust there, 20 in Duchesne. Look at these feels-like temperatures, the wind chills. Yeah, it's biting out there with temperatures right now. 12 in Heber. Feels like it's 17 in Vernal, 22 in Hanksville, 17 in Manti. So don't be caught off guard if you're heading outside. 9 in Denver, negative 18 in Fargo, 0 in Cleveland. It actually feels like it's colder in New York City and D.C. right now. So how about that? It could be a lot worse. We've got some snow up closer towards the Great Lakes. It's heading out towards the east. Meanwhile, we're dry and dealing with clear skies today. And it's the clear conditions that's going to set the stage for a very cold night ahead. You'll see those conditions here through the overnight, clear conditions through the day tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. And then heading into Friday, here's our next storm rolling in. Starting to see increasing clouds through Friday evening. a spot shower up into the mountains, and then here comes our chance for snow early Saturday morning, starting off potentially in the southern Wasatch Front, maybe creeping up further towards the north, bringing us some light snow showers through Saturday afternoon, and then that'll linger on through the evening hours, and then it looks like we'll drying out Sunday morning, but that wave of energy, the low pressure, will be down towards the south and west, cut off from the jet stream, so that means it's kind of stationary and slow moving. Doesn't really know where it's going to go at that point. Monday afternoon, though, we could see some mix of rain and snow showers down towards the St. George area. So generally, right now, maybe could see a coating to an inch here across the valleys up to the north, and maybe a dusting of snow down towards the southwest. So 56 days actually in St. George without seeing any measurable rain and snow. That will likely either come to an end, if not Sunday, then Monday of next week. So the lows overnight, this is just downright cold. We're into the teens to single digits, even below that in Park City, -2 degrees there, 35 for high tomorrow, 40 in Cedar City, 48 in St. George. And you'll see those temperatures as we get into Friday and Saturday, getting close to the lower 50s with that mix of rain and snow Sunday into Monday. Cooler for next week. Then along the Wasatch Front, we've got temperatures here that are still cold tomorrow, better on Friday. Saturday, there's that snow. Cold for next week, and it looks like we're going to go another full weekday here without any snow. By the way, this is, if you were to guess, how many storms have we seen in a row on the weekend? 4. So this will be 5 heading into the weekend.
Am I right?
5 on Saturday. Good luck with that.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, it was a record year for Salt Lake City International Airport in 2024. We'll tell you what category next. Welcome back. Salt Lake City International Airport setting a new passenger record in 2024. Last year, more than 28 million people passed through the airport. That surpasses the previous record of more than 26 million passengers set in 2023.
Wow, the growth can be attributed to an increase in the number of domestic passengers and the addition of new nonstop destinations. Who doesn't love nonstop? The new airport is designed to accommodate 34 million passengers once Phase 4 is completed next year, Brian.
You and I were just a small percentage of those coming and going last year.
Out of 5 trips last year.
Yeah.
Well, when you're driving along State Street in Salt Lake City, you'll notice some neon, and I did notice these the past week or so. The new art installation is between 600 South to 700 South, and I like it.
You're fired up. You're hurting the desk here. Careful. 8 Utah artists created the works that reimagine the neon signs that used to be displayed along State Street in the past. The public art installations is part of Salt Lake City's Life on State implementation plan, an initiative to promote economic development along Utah's most significant streets. Happening tomorrow, Utah Governor Spencer Cox is set to deliver the State of State address. The address is scheduled to begin at 6:30 tomorrow night from the state capitol. The governor is expected to speak for about 20 minutes. We'll broadcast the State of the State live on KUTV. We'll also stream live online.
The Super Bowl of Caring is brought to you by Smith's, Mountain Home Services, Rocky Mountain Power, Check City, America First Credit Union, and Ford.
You can help end child's hunger in Utah with our Super Bowl of Caring. For more information on how to donate, scan the QR code on your screen or go to KUTV.com/donate. For many kids, their only meals of free school, breakfast, or lunch. Just $10 can help feed a child for a weekend.
Well, waiting for some snow, obviously. I know that'll take place on Saturday, but
Yeah.
should I go tomorrow or should I just pump the brakes and wait?
Go tomorrow. Practice on your
Get
spins.
a little work in there. Yeah,
practice
my
skiing
spins, yes. Just like we're doing. We're spinning on out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Take care.